Hello, it is me, America's Supermom, and Happy New Year again. I'm so excited about the new year. I just have to keep us saying it every episode. Happy New Year, until it gets old, right? Well, I want to come on to ask you, what are you doing to make sure that 2023 is prosperous for you, whether it's with your personal or business life? What's on your calendar? How are you setting yourself up for success? So, one of the things that really supports us achieving our goals is having an actionable plan so that we can move forward in the direction where we would like to go. So if you are headed to a destination, you have to get there by some mode of transportation if we're talking about a physical location. It is all about the work, right? So, one of the visuals that I always keep in mind about a goal that I'm having is I'm starting here, I want to go there, but there's this gap in between these two places. And that is the work that I have to do in order to get to that destination. Now, there are things that where I'm at that are behind me. They don't serve me anymore. If you are learning how to walk, yes, it's important to crawl, but you don't need to crawl in order to get to your destination. It's going to take you more time. It's like regressing, right? So we want to think about, okay, I'm walking. How can I run? How can I skip? How can I jog? Right. And so some of these different measures, you can walk and get to your destination. That is like a slower pace. But if you want to level it up, so to speak, you would probably need to hire someone or duplicate yourself in order for that to happen much quicker. And so when you think about duplicating yourself, you can find out what are the strengths that you have. Now, you can assess this yourself doing strength finders and all these other different things, but you also can get a coach, someone that could help you recognize the blind spots of the things that are maybe keeping you distracted, stopping you from being a finisher. This is so familiar for me because the beginning of the year, I never was much for New Year's resolutions, but there's something about a new year where it's like a fresh start. Your check register's new. Depending on how you're keeping your records, it's like this is a new start. I'm not going to do what I did last year. It's usually what we say. But what we're doing is attracting that same energy. Last year is gone and we keep bringing it up. Before you know it, we're doing all the things that we didn't want to do because that's what we are keeping our mind focused on. So sometimes it might take getting into a new environment, getting around different people, hiring a coach, someone that can help you change your narrative, your vocabulary, the words that you're using, the mindset that you're having. All this can happen from having a coach. Now that's just one way, but I just use that because I'm a coach, right? So it makes sense for me to talk about what I know. So this was part of my journey. I kept on doing the same thing over and over again. I was in the hospital 3 times for depression, right? So part of that cycle was me doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It wasn't until the third time that I really finally got the message. I took time to reflect, I took time to get over myself, ask some different questions so I could get some different outcomes, so that I can change my thinking and I could start doing different things to get me on a different path. So that is really what I want to talk about. And I want to highlight a few things that are happening for me for 2023. And I think when we think about our calendars, sometimes we can get overwhelmed with starting a lot of things. Right? You're so gung ho, you're excited. It's weight loss, it's new attitude, it's new friends, new this, right? And then we don't have the infrastructure to support it. It's like someone who wins the lottery, they have all these plans about what they're going to do. A year later, they don't have any more money because it's not about the obtaining, it's about the maintaining, right? So we can get a goal, we can work on achieving it, right? But how are we going to maintain that momentum? So, a good example that I like to use is if you're training for a marathon. A marathon, you just don't sign up for a marathon and then run it tomorrow. It takes training, takes discipline in preparing yourself for such a long run. So when you do that, there are things that just kind of fall away that don't support you anymore. Maybe it's eating habits. Maybe you were eating things that didn't support your stamina that you need to run a marathon. So you have to give up the processed foods, the sodas, the things that are making your job harder. You begin to eliminate those so that you can make your task easier. Staying up late, maybe spending time watching TV instead of working, so that you can use your time to work, use your time to train, use your time to rest, right? More effectively. So there are a lot of things that can change on that journey of preparing for a marathon. Now, what that looks like is you run the marathon, but you're not the same person you were before you ran the marathon because you've evolved, you've changed, your body has gotten healthier. You've got different muscle mass. You may not even be the same size. You may not even have the same interests because you have accomplished something that maybe you didn't think you could. So you're more of a champion. You've seen another side, another perspective of what you can accomplish. And so you want to take that momentum and place that energy in something else, maybe something new, or maybe you want to master something that you just have been interested in. So the point is that you're changing, that you're getting better, you're evolving, and you don't want to go back to the old way of thinking. There's this saying that you can't solve a problem with the same mindset that got you there. So as you become a problem solver, you're going to be a different person. You're going to see things from a different perspective. You're going to have more insight that you can share with other people. So this is something that I would like you guys to challenge yourselves to think about. What are some things that you've mastered, some things that you've grown from? And are you going back to some of those old things, or are you leveling up from where you're at, moving forward in a different direction? So, some things that I want to make you aware of is that I have a Zoom call on Tuesday, June 10th. I have a 2 p.m. one and a 7 p.m. because I am launching a second season of my live stream TV series, Real Life Without Excuses. So if you're interested in being a part of that celebration, that premiere, please reach out to me. I would love to send you the link so that you can join me. The other thing is, if you look back here behind me, Valentine's Day is coming up. Now, I know a lot of people think Valentine's Day, we are just getting over Christmas, it's New Year, but business moves forward in a different direction all the time, right? And so we have to stay ahead of the curve. So I'm going to also have a Zoom call where I can get with business owners. I started this campaign last year, starting with Christmas in July. And so as I worked on having events to where we can use these holidays in our business and leverage them so that we can make more connections and that we can make more conversions by being mindful of including that holiday in our marketing campaigns or just in nurturing our relationships with our clients. So I will be having a Zoom call for that event, how we can show love to our business um, every day. So that is going to be also in the making. And so I love this call because I got to set up the links and everything. So I'm uh, asking you to follow up with me so that I can send you the link and I can get going on it. Because what I have found, part of being a finisher is to do it, right? Sometimes we can overanalyze. We can say, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You tell a couple people, the momentum is gone, right? But if you do things in a strategic manner to where you're keeping that accountability going, then you're ending up being a finisher, right? You say you're going to do something, you align your behavior to do it, and then it's accomplished. A lot of times we make things more challenging than what they are. So I'm holding you accountable. We're in this together, engaging, so that you can say, hey, I need that link for that Valentine's Day room because it is going to be in January. It doesn't do us any good to have this room in February before Valentine's Day. A lot of us, it's the beginning of the year. You got new programs you're a part of. You got to get your money right. You got to budget. So just because you haven't set your budget first, you need to be thinking about how can I set that budget? Maybe you need information before you decide how that's going to look. So we're going to have that call in January. And then we're doing a great book study on LinkedIn with the book Connected to Goodness by David Meltzer. It is just a game changer in terms of hearing the different perspectives about how we can sharpen our own saw, how we can get better in the business acumen that we have personally and professionally. So if you get a chance, please join me either on Clubhouse or on LinkedIn. We have the LinkedIn room Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's just an hour. You don't have to have read the book, but some of the topics that we talk about, whether it's clarity, alignment, strategy, habits, these are some topics that, whether you've read the book or not, many of us have perspectives on. So we would love for you to join us. Um, and then lastly, I would remind everybody to think about, when you're preparing your calendar, what do you have that's a part of what you're already doing that you can cross pollinate? If you're doing a video, can you post that video on different social media platforms or live stream it in real time in at one setting? So when you think about multi-purposing what you're doing, you really don't have a lot of time to fall into the trap of comparison, comparing yourself to other people, feeling like you're not doing it right. Does anybody hear you out there? You begin to understand your own strategy, and then you align that strategy in different platforms. And so you're not overwhelmed. One of the things I want to remind everybody is that social media is a tool that we use for our benefit. It's not designed to use us. And so we have to be mindful of thinking about how can we get it to work for us. Maybe we can set up, even thinking about next month with Valentine's Day. For some people, they're focusing on Black History Month. Who are some power partners that you might want to connect with? There's a number of things that you could take into account knowing that this particular month is coming up. Valentine's Day, again, is one of the biggest shopping days, commercial wise. So, how can you get a piece of that market share? Twiddling your thumbs, talking about last Christmas, which is only a few weeks behind us, but it's behind us. It's over and done with. How can we move forward with that intel? Maybe you missed Black Friday. Well, you can make up for it with Valentine's Day. You can get ahead and start a cushion for yourself. So, these are some things that I wanted to remind you of, and also ask that if you want to connect with me, if you want to be a part of my network, I have a link that's in the comments for you to join and think about how you can uh, tackle more market share by coming together with a team and collaborating rather than doing it alone. So I would love to get your feedback. If there's some topics that you would like me to discuss, please feel free to put it in the comments or reach out to me. I will not bite, and I love meeting new people. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.